Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, a very special battle report for you today. As advertised, I am playing Callum from Tabletop Banter.
Hello.
Hello Callum, and thanks very much for coming down, give us a game. And we've rolled off, and we are playing Purge the Alien, so good old fashioned kill points. I am playing my Nidzillas, and deployed over on this side. We're playing just the long table edges. I've deployed my Warlord, just a Flyrant there. He's got Catalyst and the Horror. Over the other side of the table I have a second Flyrant. He's got Catalyst and Warp Blast. In the middle of the table we have a Trigon and a Trigon Prime and two separate Carnifexes. I am playing dual CADs. In reserve I have a Toxicrene in a drop pod, and also have 4 squads of minimum Ripper Swarms. And Callum has deployed up over here. Just going to let him run through his army for you.
So up here we have a 2 las cannon Devastator squad, 10 tactical marines with a melter gun, 10 tactical marines. Sergeant has the plasma pistol power sword, 1 plasma gun, 10 tactical marines, plasma gun, plasma pistol. Over here we have 5 Deathwing Terminators, 1 assault cannon, a company master with a relic blade, storm shield, and a combi plasma. Hiding behind these 2 buildings, the one over here and one over there, we have 2 rhinos. And in reserve are a 5-man squad of assault marines with a veteran sergeant and a power fist, a drop pod dreadnought with multi-melter and storm bolter, and also 3 Ravenwing bikes and a librarian.
Right, so there you go. So lots of marines on the table. I'm definitely outnumbered. I have 8 monstrous creatures and a few rippers. So this is going to be a really interesting game. I am currently going first, but we'll see if Callum's going to seize the initiative or not. He's going to have a go.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yes.
A 6. Yeah, that's the 3rd game in a row of mine that I've had the initiative stolen from me. Okay, so turn 1 then for the Dark Angels. Okay, so that was turn 1 there for the Dark Angels, and the Marines, although they weren't quite in range, decided just to hold their ground for this turn. Don't want to get too close, obviously all my gribblies. The drop pod did, however, land there, didn't scatter at all. The Dread got out, sadly his multi-melter whiffed and totally missed my Trigon Prime, along with the Storm Bolter and the Bolter from the drop pod. However, the 2 las cannons in the top of that building, which I think will be a bit of a problem for me all game, they did take 2 wounds of the Trigon Prime, just there. The only other event was the Terminators just moving up slightly just on that side of the table. So that was it for turn 1 for the Dark Angels. We're going to move on now to turn 1 for Tyranids. Okay, so Tyranid turn 1. Moved the Flyrant up over there. I attempted to do the Catalyst and also the Horror. I failed both, couldn't get the warp charges out. These guys in the middle, I just moved and ran them up slightly. Moved the Carnifex there and the Trigon Prime. And then up over this side, moved the Flyrant out there, trying to target the heavy support. I managed to get Warp Blast off, but I did fail the Feel No Pain as well, the Catalyst. The Warp Blast scattered, hit the Rhino behind, but didn't damage it. Put the Twin Link Devourers up into there. I managed to kill 1 Marine, so they're still holding strong. Over this side, I shot the Twin Link Devourers up over on that Rhino. Did manage to wreck it, which gave me first blood and a victory point, which is pretty useful. In the middle of the table, because I couldn't deal with the las cannons, I sort of took a bit of a chance with the Trigon Prime, and I actually bundled him into that Dread there, just to stop those las cannons from trying to shoot me, but probably won't work because I think he's probably going to die from that Dread, to be fair. But there you go, we'll see. I managed to get 2 kill points, so it's pretty useful as we move in to turn 2 for the Dark Angels and their reserves.
Yes, of course. So, Librarian and his Ravenwing outflanking are in, and the Assault Marines are not.
Okay, so we've got some Ravenwing coming in. It's going to be interesting. Turn 2 for Dark Angels. Okay, so that was turn 2 there for the Dark Angels. So coming in from the flank was the Librarian with his bikes. He opened up on the Trigon there, but did no damage. However, I did take a wound from the last cannons. It's basically all they could see to shoot at, pretty much. So they shot me there and I took a wound. Over this side, I got shot by the Terminators, and also from them guys there. I lost 1 wound and actually grounded as well, and lost another wound from the grounding test. I'm down to 2 wounds. However, I didn't jink, and of course now I'm down on the ground. I have the chance potentially to assault if I want to. Over this side, thankfully, kind of rolled a 1 of the dice to wound me, so I'm still holding fast there with the Dread, just on 1 wound left now on that Prime, and put all my attacks in rather than smashing, but I didn't get any 6s. Actually, I rolled atrocious to hit, sorry, so I only had 1 dice to wound. Over this side of the table, a couple of shots came in. Again, I didn't jink. A few shots from, I think it was 8 shots altogether there. 1 6 got through, but I managed to save it with my 3+ save. And that was it. So no victory points there for the Dark Angels, but they're doing well with this Trigon Prime, so that's pretty useful. And obviously, that's my synapse in the centre of the table as well. So it's going to be interesting as we move into turn 2 for Tyranids. Okay, so that was turn 2 for the Tyranids. Rolled my reserves. The pod came on there with the Toxicrene, just went into that building. I didn't scatter on the pod. 2 of my Ripper Swarms came on. I moved and I ran them up into this building. The other 2 squads didn't come on. Then moved to the 2 big monstrous creatures there, just smashed through the building, managed to get into assault range with the Carnifex onto the Dreadnought and the other Carnifex onto the drop pod. This Carnifex here, he did 1 whole point from Hammer and Wrath, but he totally whiffed his normal attacks. However, over this side, did slightly better. The Trigon, he did no, what happened? Oh yes, I got Hammer and Wrath attacks from the Carnifex. It took 2 whole points off, and because there was only 1 whole point left, I then smashed the Trigon in. The Dread was attacking at the same time. He split his attacks, tried to take both out with some extra wounds. The Trigon, of course, was only on 1 wound. He managed to survive, rolled a double 1 to hit. The Carnifex, though, did take a wound, so I'm down to 3 wounds on the Carnifex there. Over this side of the table, I moved the Flyrant just at the back. I targeted the Rhino that was behind there. I did take that out, so that was another victory point. The Toxicrene used his Big Blast template, and he shot those blue Marines there, scattered massively, did no damage, killed 1 of the Marines from the pod. The Flyrants there, he shot up into the last cannon squad, killed 1 last cannon guy and then the sergeant, and they ran, so they're just running behind the building there. I did manage to get Catalyst off this time, so he's got Feel No Pain along with the pod, and the Toxicrene and the Flyrant behind the building there, he's also got Feel No Pain. Did manage to get the Horror off as well, just on those blue guys, but he rolled really well and didn't fail no leadership checks. So that's it. It's currently 4 victory points to 0, but the Dark Angels do have some reserves. They've got their Assault Marines. Let's see if they come out.
They do.
They do. Okay, so going to move on then. Turn 3 for the Dark Angels. Okay, so that was turn 3 there for the Dark Angels. So the Assault Marines from reserve deep striked up over in this building, but they scattered off, landed on my Ripper unit, and rolled to the mishap table, went into ongoing reserve, so they'll be out next turn. Then men moved the bikes through that building just there, managed to get in range of my Trigon Prime that was there. The normal shots missed, but the plasma gun managed to get through and took the last wound off. I didn't get my cover save. Over here, these guys, those guys there, and also those guys there, moved on up towards the Flyrant, still in the air. Started shooting those and those at my Flyrant. I did jink, just in case, but in the end I had no wounds come through. This unit then decided they'd open up on the drop pod instead, which... did you get a wound from them? Yeah, one wound. Yeah, one wound from them, even though I had my feel no pain. And then the blue Marines there opened up on the Toxicrene. I took my 2+ cover save for my stealth. I rolled a 2, but then Callum remembered that I had the Warlord trait that made this piece of terrain have a less cover save, so I actually took a wound from that. It's a bit annoying, but there you go. The last cannon and the other guy, they just regrouped and moved up around where those blue guys are. So that was it. So the Dark Angels managed to get the first kill point. So it's 1 kill point to 4 as we move into Tyranid turn 3, and of course I've got 2 more Ripper Swarms to come in. Okay, so that was Tyranid turn 3, and both Ripper squads came on. I just moved them on up over in the building with the other 2, just ran them into the building there. We went to Synapse. I was in Synapse with all the creatures apart from one Carnifex. This guy just there, he failed his Synapse, but he rolled on the feed table and has basically no effect on him. He just he couldn't run basically, or so he just moved backwards there along with the other Carnifex. He moved and ran backwards along with the Flyrant that was in the air still, but he was only snapshotting, so he also flew fast up over this area trying to keep Synapse on these 2 beasties. The Toxicrene moved up slightly to the blue guys, didn't get too close because he didn't want to scatter with that blast weapon, and then the pod just moved backwards slightly as well. The Flyrant at the back just moved 12 inches, still swooping in the air. He shot the 2 Devastators that were left, managed to kill both of those for a kill point. The Toxicrene there shot the blue squad. Managed to kill 3. I did try to assault, but I rolled 3 for assault range, so that didn't happen. The pod shot the blue squad and killed 1 guy. They didn't fail any leaderships or anything. I did get feel no pain up on the Flyrants there, and the Toxicrene and this Flyrant, and also the drop pods. They've all got feel no pain. Over this side of the table, I managed to get the Trigon into the assault with the bikes. And as you can see, they're all gone, so I managed to take them down. I did lose a wound from Overwatch from the Plasma, so I'm down to 4 wounds there. So we are currently at 7 kill points to 1 as we moved into the Dark Angels turn 4, and they still have their reserves to come in. So turn 4, which automatically come on. Yep. Okay, so that was turn 4 there for the Dark Angels. So the reserves came on. They managed to get a dead-on hit right there. They shot my Rippers, took 2 wounds off of the front Ripper there. Everything else moved on up and started pointing their guns at my drop pod. They did manage to take a good number of wounds off, even with my feel no pain, but I did survive with just 1 wound left. The only other shooting was the Deathwing Terminators. They eyed up the back of this Trigon in the building there, shot all of their guns through, but anything that did come through I managed to save, so no wounds. So that's it. We're going to swiftly move on now to Tyranid turn 4. Okay, so that was Tyranid turn 4. Pretty decent turn for me, really, to be fair. I started off up over here. I managed to land the Flyrant behind that building. I did shoot through the windows at that squad there, but he saved everything. The Toxicrene used his big blast, killed a couple of guys, those blues on the blue squad there. I proceeded to assault them, managed to wipe the last couple of guys out, so that was another kill point for me. The badly wounded drop pod just moved away from all the rapid firing guns as much as possible. The 2 Carnifexes there, they moved and ran up towards the Flyrant, who moved over the building and still in the air there, but basically the plan was to shoot out a few of the Marines and then assault with the Rippers who moved up in the building. But I managed to get the horror off and I managed to pin them. So I just shot them. I killed 1 guy from shooting and decided not to bother assaulting, so I've just left them standing there. Over this side of the table, the very fearless Trigon, if I get it to focus, he basically just moved and ran up behind that building, just totally trying to get out of line of sight, as obviously we're playing victory points. So I'm sort of starting to run away with this. At this moment in time, it's 8 victory points to 1, but there's still some time left. A bit of recovery for the Dark Angels maybe. So we move in to turn 5 for the Dark Angels. Okay, so turn 5 there for the Dark Angels, potentially the last turn, we'll have to see. Basically all the units just moved up into range as best as possible for the Toxicrene there. Rapid fired, the sergeant in the far squad there died from his plasma pistol. Managed to get 2 wounds off of the Toxicrene. He's down to 2 wounds now, so he's starting to dwindle. Over this side of the table, these pinned guys just snapshotted at my rippers. One wound through, but I managed to save it with the ruined building there. That was pretty much it. So we're going to swiftly move into turn 5 for the Tyranids. Okay, so that was turn 5 for the Tyranids. We started off with Synapse. The Carnifex was once again out of the Synapse range, and once again he fouled his Synapse, so he could only move. So he just moved up there. The other Carnifex moved 6 inches through the cover. The idea being to assault the Marines that would have been there, but the Flyrant, he came up from over there still swooping, and he managed to take the Marines out, so that was another victory point for me. The drop pod moved away as much as possible once again. Over here, the Toxicrene, he moved up ready to shoot and assault that unit. He shot the big blast, which scattered onto himself and took a wound off of him. Was unable to get Feel No Pain up, which is pretty annoying. Yeah, he took a wound there. He proceeded to assault, and he died in Overwatch. Was it Overwatch?
No, it was in combat with
Grenades. Oh, that's right, yeah. He did get Overwatch 3, but I saved it, sorry. Then we went into combat, and he lost his last wound from a crack grenade. Over the other side there, the Flyrant that had already landed, he moved up over there, ready to shoot and assault that unit. Fantastic shooting, killed 4 guys. I took a wound from Overwatch, and then I was out of assault range. So he's just left standing there, and he's on the ground this time. So the Dark Angels have an opportunity to at least get a few kill points back if the game goes on. So let's roll the dice and see if the game goes on. A 4, it does. Okay, so turn 6 for the Dark Angels. Okay, so that was turn 6 there for the Dark Angels, and they are trying to get a few points back. The 2 most obvious targets were the drop pod, which was swiftly taken out by these guys here. And then the Terminators moved up through the terrain along with these guys, and they shot my Flyrant. I didn't have Feel No Pain. I did lose 1 wound, so I'm down to 2 wounds. Of course, I am on the ground. And that was pretty much it. So 3 kill points now to the Dark Angels as we move in to turn 6 for the Tyranids. Okay, so turn 6 for the Tyranids. Basically move both Carnifexes away, just victory point denial now. All the Rippers just jiggled around. I flew the Flyrant that was up over there all the way over here, and I flew the other Flyrant that was there all the way up over there, making sure I had a line breaker. Got Feel No Pain off there, but I did perils and take a wound. I then shot out the 4 guys that were remaining there for another victory point. Over this side of the table, this Flyrant, he did failed his Feel No Pain, but I did get Warp Blast off. Took out 4 guys from that unit, and then I proceeded to shoot the Twin-Link Devourers. Killed another guy, so just 5 left. They didn't fail their leadership. So we're currently on 10 points to 3 for the Tyranids, plus I have a line breaker. So we're going to roll off and see if the game goes on. It does, so it's going to go all the way. Turn 7, let's see if the Dark Angels can do anything else. Okay, so that was we played both turn 7s. End of the game. Both the Dark Angels units that were left targeted my Flyrant up in the building there. He was flying, didn't get any hits through. I then landed both of my Flyrants and shot out this unit here with the Flyrant that was in the building, and then that Flyrant shot the Terminators. I did kill one Terminator, so just the Terminator units left there and the Warlord as we've ended the game. So its final count is 11 kill points plus slay the Linebreaker.
That's right, yeah.
Versus 3 for the Dark Angels. But it was a very fun game, so thanks very much again for coming down. Don't forget, thank you. Don't forget to check out Tabletop Banter's channel. Of course, I will put a link in the description below. Go and give him a sub. Great guy. He's doing some great work on his channel. Okay, so that's it from me. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next video.